What's up, duelists? It's main phase 2, and today we're going to be profiling Darkworlds. This is a deck I've been working on for 3 months. It's quite a good Darkworld deck. The one thing that makes this Darkworld deck unique is that it does not use Mind Crush or Drag Down into the Grave. This deck does not look at your opponent's hand at all, so it's going to be a completely new style. Well, not completely new, but a more unique Darkworld deck. So I'll just give you the profile, and if you got any comments or questions, just pop that down below, and I will be sure to answer all of them. So this deck starts off with a 3 Grapha. Grapha is standard in any Darkworld deck. I've not seen a single Darkworld deck that doesn't use 3 Grapha, and he's your staple, along with your 3 Snows. 3 Snows and 3 Grapha are seen in every Darkworld deck. This does not change. If it does, that Darkworld deck is not going to be as hot as it could be. So 3 of each, and you're good to go. Next, I like to run 3, count them 1, 2, 3, Brow. Some people like to run 2. I prefer 3 because it's just more draw power, and also it's good to use with your field spell. So these guys are really good, and they're really good for XC summoning because they're level 3s, and we like to run a lot of level 3s nowadays in our extra decks. Next, we run 2 Beige. Beige is a really good beater, and he is good for emergencies. You can just discard him special. You can XCs if you have another one out on the field. Also, just a really good card. He's a good just normal summon. He's a good plain old normal summon. He's nothing you really care if he gets bottomless or anything like that. He's not too strong, but he's just your foot soldier, I'd call him. Next, we run this card, which most people say, why is it in your deck? We run 2 Ceruli. Ceruli is a very good card in this deck, and I will tell you why, because you're probably wondering. This card works amazing with the field spell. Its effect is if it's discarded to the graveyard by a Darkworld effect, and that is there are 1, 2, 3, yeah, I'm pretty sure 3 different cards and multiples of each in this deck that lets it activate its effect. Its effect is to get special summoned, so it clogs your opponent's side of the field. Then you can discard a card from your hand. This lets you discard, and it also pluses their effect. This will plus Grapha, Snow, and Brow. So all 3 of those will get extra effects, as well as Silva, actually, because Silva's in this deck as well. So that's more monsters with more effects, and you clog your opponent's field. And then you can banish this to use Gate's effect, because this thing, once it's banished, it really doesn't come back. You don't need it back. So it's just extra banish material for Gates of Darkworld. So that's why I run 2. Next, we run 2 Silva. Some people don't run Silva. Some people run 1 Silva, 1 gold. I've seen one person run 3 golds and 3 Silvas. 2 Silva is all you need. Gold isn't as good as a lot of people think he is, and people who are smart with Darkworlds know that gold isn't good at all, because gold's effect can be useless. Silva's effect is never useless. Silva's effect is always good. He can be special as soon as you discard. He's special summon, so he's pretty much a mini Grapha. He's pretty much a exit out of the way if you can't get Grapha out. Grapha. This guy is awesome because his effect, he can special summon. So you got 23, which can be a 26 with Gates on your field, and then you can XZs if you have both of them, which is kind of difficult, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. And also, this guy is a 26 attack. Also, his effect, when he's discarded to the graveyard, you can, opponent's card effect, and that's why you have 2 Cerulis. Your opponent takes 2 cards from their hand and puts them onto the bottom of your deck, and that can totally devastate an entire duel. That one effect right there. So that's why we run 2 of him. Now, our non-Darkworld monsters, we run a tour guide because I'm waiting on a second one because I need a second one. But tour guide is so good with this deck, as well as the Sandgan. So you can have kind of a tour. It's like a half tour. It's like a putt-putt tour guide engine. It's not a full tour guide engine. So basically, to show you how good tour guide is, I'll show you one of my favorite moves you can do with this deck. So let's say you draw. Okay, this card's out of the picture. You draw tour guide. So you normal. You search through your deck. You can either bring out Sandgan, which is okay, but nah. You bring out Brow. There are 2 routes you can go down. There's 2 roads to travel. You can either XCs immediately for your favorite. You could be like Leviathan or Zen mains. You could bring out either one of either one of those two, or and this is what I like to do. You can bounce Brow to special Grapha, and in that act plussing off Brow. So you can summon special him, plus, and special. So that combo is just so good. And then Sangan searches everything, so that's why he's in there. Then we have a Trigodia, just because Trigodia is a hand trap and you need hand traps. You can swap him out for Gores if you feel the need to, but Trigodia also helps with Darkworld effects, and he's just a good card. And since you draw a lot with this deck, his effect is actually quite useful. Then a Fabled Raven. Fabled Raven is another discard tool, and he's also a tuner if you need a tuner, so yippee-ki-yay. Also, I like to run a Trance Archfiend. There are times where I swap, so either 2 Trance or 2 Fabled, because both these cards cover different areas of the Darkworld deck, so basically, if you want to use more than one of each, that's fine. I just use one of each just so I'm more of a Swiss Army knife, if you will. And now for the spells. We run 2 gates, because some people run 3, I run 2, because this deck doesn't revolve so heavily on gates. You can just use them, because gates is a good field spell. 3 dealings, because it reduces your deck by 3 cards. Also, it's more draw power and discard power, and that's all you want with this Darkworld deck. 2 lightning, because lightning's good. It's so good, because you can pop their back row, or their sets, which I love. I love it when I pop their Spirit Reaper, or I pop their Scrap Iron Scarecrow, or Dimensional Prison. It's just, it feels so good. And also you can discard, so it activates Darkworld effects. There's really not much more you could ask for. Card Destruction, because Card Destruction. Allure of Darkness, because Allure of Darkness. Heavy Storm and MST, because they're staples and you need it. I don't run 2 just because I think 1 of each is good. 1 Monster Reborn, because every deck I think should have a Monster Reborn in it just because it's so good. A Book of Moon, just because it's just, this card could possibly be my favorite spell card. And then here is the trap combo that I've come up with, which works very good in any deck. Very well. Very good where I don't really know. 2 Bottomless, 2 Mirror, and 2 Dark Bribe. Stops summons, stops attacks, stops spell and traps. It's basically, your trap arsenal can stop anything that your opponent can actually do, so it's quite, and they're all very powerful, and they're just a very good trap lineup. So this deck is 40 cards exactly, and you can, if for some reason this deck turns out to be less or more, and my math is just really bad, you can add maybe like a Gores or some more drawing cards like Reckless Greed or something like that. But this deck, all in all, is very good. I would recommend that one would keep with this deck for a while just to figure it out, just because it takes a little mental brain clickety-clue to figure it out. But all in all, this deck is really fun to use, and I hope you guys have as much fun using it as I have. So that's been my Darkworld deck profile. Thanks for watching.